The Nissan Rogue. When you enter the market with a name like that, you're just asking for it. So here goes. Let's take a Rogue SL on the road and check the tech. Now, when you get your Rogue, make sure you don't go with the stock audio system, because it's frighteningly simple. It would be AM, FM, CD, no MP3 or WMA files, by the way, and count them right there, 4 speakers. They haven't done 4 speakers in a car since I got my first car. So that's not the way to go. Instead, we've got a premium package here. It's called the front-wheel drive premium package. There's a different one for all-wheel drive, but the audio remains the same. Bose branded, 6-disc internal slot, MP3 and WMA playbacks. You can burn your own and get lots of music on there. And they had a whole bunch of speakers, of course, 8 around the cabin, including one of those ND subwoofers that are kind of all the rage right now. So you end up with a system that sounds a whole lot better than the stock system, but what frightens me is how iffy this one sounds. So the stock one must sound like crap. And your aux jack is right there. Not a bad position, but kind of in the way. You're going to want to buy one of those right-hand angle 90-degree plugs that'll kind of drop straight down, because this is eventually going to piss you off. XM satellite radio is your sat choice. 3 months of activation are included. Now, speaking of navigation, it's not there, of course. It's here. Isn't that interesting? We have a Nissan-partnered Garmin Nuvi 750 up here. Now, why wouldn't you buy your own Nuvi 750 and probably get it for less? Well, because you would not get this very slick integration back here. So first of all, you've got the device actually docked in its cradle right there, but more importantly, that whole cradle removes, most of it anyway, and this is the reason you'd go with a Nissan piece, because you have really clean integration, basically for power, and it gets turned on and off with the vehicle, and things of that nature, so it ends up feeling integrated, and it snaps together pretty well, even though it's basically a PND. Now, we've reviewed this as a separate product like you might buy at one of the big box stores, and we think it's pretty good. Bonnie Chaw gave it 3 stars out of 5. Our big knock against it is kind of sluggish performance. Now, of course, it is a touchscreen device, as you can see. These things always are. And even though it's kind of small, it works well because the positioning is very close to the driver. It's in your line of sight more than if it's down here, which I do like. And while the screen isn't as big as I'd like it to be, the brightness is pretty strong. Now, of course, this system doesn't have things like live traffic or connected ability, so you can't look at the latest prices for gasoline in your area, etc. But for $450, that's a lot less sticker shock than the $2,000 or so you'll pay for one that lives in there. Now, as part of a premium package, which is really the only tech option on these cars, you get the audio system that I mentioned. You also get Bluetooth hands-free built in, and your buttons are here on the wheel. And that premium package brings you one of these, the intelligent key. So you get to pretend you're rich even though you're driving about a $21,000 car. You keep your key in your pocket and get in and just turn the little handle. The transmission's going to be a CVT, continuously variable automatic transmission, with your gear positions marked off like a traditional automatic. One interesting difference though, the premium package on this front-wheel drive Rogue doesn't change the transmission. The premium package on an all-wheel drive Rogue SL gives you paddles here on the wheel, so they assume that the all-wheel drive folks are more sporty. Now, thanks to the Rogue's engine being 2.5 fairly generous liters, you don't need to rev it to get everything done. It's got some torque. And the CVT, continuously variable transmission, is smooth, but it can be slippery or rubbery, as these gearboxes or anti-gearboxes are prone to do. But none of this spells Rogue. There's nothing edgy or challenging about this vehicle. The ride is in fact quite car-like, which isn't surprising, since the Rogue is built on the basic underpinnings of the Sentra. But car doesn't mean sports car. Instead, the Rogue's ride quality seems to amplify your awareness of its height, almost as if there's a Sentra inside there saying, "Get me off these stilts." Things look okay inside, not great. I find all of Nissan's current era gauges and instruments to be way too Fisher-Price for my tastes, and that continues here. Okay, a Rogue SL front-wheel drive is about $22,600 with destination. Add $1,200 for all-wheel drive. Then your premium package brings you most of the tech in the dash, but the price varies. It's $2,000 for the front-wheel drive car, $2,300 for all-wheel drive because it adds a little more stuff, including those paddle shifters. $450 a la carte for the Garmin Nuvi nav thingy, $950 for a glass moonroof.